We are live now. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our India session. We are still waiting for two more guests to join, but I think we are good to go now. To start the session, let me just introduce our guest. I have to read out what I have in front of you from me. Let me start with Kanan. Thank you for joining our India session. Just a second. I think I'm getting an echo from somewhere, so let me just fix that up. Okay, I think I'm getting an echo from somebody's system. Just a second. All right. So I see Arpita is also here. Hi, Arpita.
Hi, Arpita.
Hi.
Hi, Shweta. Hi, Sunil.
Hi, Arpita.
Hi.
Hi, Prashant.
Hi. Let me just start now. We are already live, Arpita. I was getting onto the point where I was about to introduce everyone, and I'll start with you since you're here. Arpita is based out of New Delhi. Arpita runs the award-winning independent publishing house called Yoda Press, based in New Delhi. She is also visiting faculty with the creative writing program at Ashoka University in Delhi. She writes regularly on gender, popular culture, publishing and book culture for various periodicals and platforms. She was shortlisted for the Bookseller Future Leader of the Year Award in 2017. Kannan S.R. Sundaram, he's Managing Director and Publisher of Kalachuvadu Publication. I think I pronounced it right, Kannan. Kalachuvadu was awarded the Best Publisher awarded by Publisher Next in 2018 and Romain Rolland Award for Best Translation from French to Indian language in 2018. He also won the Federation of Indian Publishers Best Book Production Award in 2019. Shweta Khurana. Shweta is an editor with All About Book Publishing, Trade Journal, connecting publishing professionals and carrying insight about publishing in India. She also published Publishers on Publishing and Inside India's book business, which covers different aspects of publishing in India. Mr. Sunil Mehta. Mr. Sunil Mehta is based out of Pune. He's MD of Mehta Publishing House. His work focuses on translating and publishing foreign and regional books in Marathi, publishing English titles, and launching ebook services or making their presence felt on social networking sites. Esha, she is with us, but she's on audio because she is not well. She can hear us, and maybe we'll rope her in when we ask her some questions so the audience can hear Esha's view. She's based out of Kolkata, and she runs a publishing house called B Books, and she publishes everything from translations, fiction, non-fiction, essays, graphic novels, corporate coffee table books. Apart from that, she's also a big book reviewer, critic, moderator for literary events. She's also the managing director for Patra Bharati and heads the marketing wing for the Bengali Publishing Press. Mr. Ravi DC, he is with us. Ravi DC is the managing partner of DC Books and also the managing director of Current Books India Private Limited. Current Books is the second largest bookshop chain in India. He's also the secretary of DC Kizakambri Foundation, a trust formed to promote socio-economic culture and education. He also founded DC School of Management and Technology, a school which offers management, architecture, and finance programs. He also founded Kerala Literature Festival. KLF has emerged as the second largest literary festival in India in terms of participation and quality of content. Once it is everything is done, I want to ask you how can you do so many things at one point in time? This is really amazing. And Gaurav has not joined us yet, so once Gaurav comes in, I'll give a brief introduction on him as well. So since you are done with the introductions, I will pass on the baton to Emma. And Emma, why don't you start with your questions?
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Prashant. I think one thing that always strikes me about Indian publishers is they always do more than just publishing. They always have more than one job and they're always very entrepreneurial. But I think, why don't we start with Shweta, just to give us a very, very brief introduction into what makes publishing in India unique. And I think one thing that's good about this panel is that we've got people here from North, South, East and West India. And as we said in the introduction, it's not just a country, it's a continent that's full of lots of diverse types of publishing, different languages, different genres. So Shweta, why don't you just introduce publishing in India in a very short few minutes?
So I think it's very diverse, and we come with a wealth of knowledge across India. And we have about 9,000 plus publishers. The industry per se is about an $8 billion industry. This is Nielsen's figures of 2018-19. We have 22 languages. In terms of bookstores, would be about 21,000 plus, again, a Nielsen figure. And what really attracts me about publishing and learning about the whole thing is the language publishing. So language publishing is definitely on the rise. And in terms of, it's just very exciting, and publishing in India is totally full of action and quite exciting right now.
Yeah. So let's move down to the South to start with. And Ravi, why don't you introduce publishing in the South? What languages do you publish in? What genres are popular down there? And tell us a little bit about your literature festival as well.
Sure. Thanks, Emma. DC Books publishes in Malayalam actually, and we do all genres actually. From the fiction is the main, one of the most sought after kind of thing, especially literary fiction in Kerala. And also we publish children's to non-fiction, memoirs to literally everything actually in the publishing area. I mean, one of the largest dictionaries actually in the bilingual dictionaries is also done in Malayalam actually, which is done by DC Books as well. It's called the English Malayalam Dictionary. And so whether it's reference or fiction, there is a decent market, because I'll just give you a background about how the Kerala scenario works actually. I mean, Kerala has about, I mean, you call it a library, but it's basically a reading room. But Kerala has about 8,000 reading rooms across. Kerala is a very small state, but there's about 8,000 libraries in about 900 plus panchayats, or the smaller divisions actually, you know. So it's quite active in terms of reading rooms and libraries. On the other hand, actually people do buy books, and the combination of a book, the composition of a bookshop is actually a language selling. I mean, a Malayalam bookshop will also carry enough of English, or in English. I mean, the bookshop carries everything. It's unlike in many parts. Either it's the language of the place or English, but in Kerala, almost all the bookshop carries all kind of books actually. I mean, which is a good thing. I mean, we all enjoy. And there's about 3,000 books being published, including reprints in Malayalam, and out of that, about 1,500 plus is done by DC Books. And we do about 500 to 600 new, that's including the reprints, but we do about 600 new prints a year. So that's what we are about. I mean, of the 50% of the books we do, we sort of have about 75 to 80% of the in terms of value, we have the sort of market share for the Malayalam literature. Kerala Literature Festival started about 5 years back, and it's in the lines of most of the Lit First actually, but the difference is we don't go by, I mean, at least in Kerala, it doesn't work that way. We don't go by the books and the authors, we go by the topics, and there are a lot of takers for, I mean, if we work with the public in terms of, when we do the Lit First, we work with the public more to understand the kind of subjects and topics which need to be discussed. You know. So, I mean, Arpita has been there. I mean, Kannan has been there. So, I mean, there are a few people who have been to the Lit First actually. So, it's a good Lit First actually. There's a lot of people on the beaches of Calicut, and it works pretty well. That's what I mean.
Fun. Sounds like a lot of fun as well.
It is actually. It's a beautiful beach actually. That's
and so, when you when you publish in Malayalam, are you publishing in original works, or are you translating from other languages into Malayalam?
Both,
or
actually, both. What we do is about 10 to 15% of our books are translation, but 85% is original text, actually. I mean, like about...
Amazing. I think as we get towards the end, we'd love to have a list of authors we should be reading, which originate in the Malayalam language.
Sure. Thanks, Sima. Thank you.
So let's go to the home of publishing. Should I say that? Home of publishing in India, in Delhi, Apta? Am I wrong to say that?
Well,
It is, actually.
Yeah, Ravi, that's sweet of you, but you know, I keep thinking that there's so much that is happening across the country now, and there is so much that's happening online now as well, and I understand that whole sort of ecosystem, that whole myth, in a sense, that whole picture we grew up with, in a sense, in our minds, of Delhi being the hub of publishing in India. And in a lot of ways, many offices are still headquartered in Delhi. But I think a lot of it is changing. And so I don't know if I go with that anymore. You know, as a matter of fact, if anyone says Delhi is a home of publishing, I always correct them and say, it might still be like that somewhat, but so much has changed that don't stay with this.
Yeah, that's good to hear. It's a bit like, well, in the
I
UK,
think-
we're very London centric, but we're really trying to get more publishing outside of London. And so we can hear more voices from the north and from other parts of the country. It's not good that it's so London centric. So it's good to hear that in India there are different centers of publishing, and you're hearing different voices and different people get to work in different parts of the country.
In India, Emma, when we say things are going south, that means it's not going bad, it's going good. I mean, in South, we see all the great things happening, and then especially at this point of time, the bookstores started opening in South first, and they had the way they have managed in South is really amazing, and we'll come on to that.
Great. Well, let's move to Sunil. Sunil, tell us a bit about your publishing company and what you do.
We are basically based in Pune, and we do Marathi publishing, which is a regional language in Maharashtra, and around 150 to 200 books have been published newly per year, and 1,000 plus books have been reprinted. We are the major publishers of this regional language, and I can say we are the one of the publisher who has got 1,400 plus titles as ebooks on Amazon, and also now on with the audiobooks. Then we are selling some rights for the films also. And many of the major authors from Marathi are with Mehta Publishing House. So we are there from 1976. And that was my father, Mr. Anil Mehta, who started in Pune. And I just took it over from 86 after my college.
And so you mentioned ebooks and audiobooks. Are they doing well all of a sudden or have they increased during the lockdown?
Yeah, lockdown period. I've got just a report from the Amazon people. The increase is like 64% of my books, what they have said in the email. So I am happy that I'm the only one as ebook seller or having those ebooks on Amazon. So that is good for me. And I think so it is increasing day by day. And we should see that people would be going on digital platform.
Yeah. I think India is the perfect place for digital publishing because everybody has a phone and everybody has a device. So Kenan, what are you seeing on the digital space in publishing?
Today, the digital is increasing. We have to see that people grow with the digital content, and even all the publishers should come on this platform.
And Arpita, in your experience, are publishers joining in, or what are the obstacles to publishers wanting to go onto the digital platforms?
So they are not so techno savvy. So we have to just see that there are people who can show these things or the sales which are going on Amazon, or Amazon people can come in Maharashtra with all the publishers telling the advantages of this digital platform.
So Arpita, let's come to you. What do you think about digital platforms and digital publishing? What are you seeing?
So I've always said it. I think digital platforms, have been very, very important, and now are, of course, increasingly so. Have been important, I would say, for the last decade. And what is really funny, I was smiling just now when Sunil was speaking, because about 3 years ago, when there was that big piece of news flashed across the world that ebook sales had plateaued, and there was so much celebration in my country like elsewhere. Print books are here to stay. Print books, nobody's going to do anything to print books, because ebooks, nobody gives a shit about ebooks. And I kept thinking, this is such waste, because when a trend like this starts because of existing technology, it's not going to give up just because a particular version has not reached its optimum self. And we know statistically reading online has only gone up over the last 3 years. It doesn't have to be ebooks. My students only read online. Yeah. And then what happened? So what did a lot of publishers, a lot of independent publishers do at that point? Small indies like me, they said, oh, forget the ebook conversion. We bother about that. And then what happens? Pandemic hits, and the only thing you can sell is what you put on Kindle. And it's, that story tells you everything. Right?
Well, let's hope everybody really learns from this and gets their content digitized as soon as possible, because I don't think there will be a new normal. And, now people are getting used to reading digital, then hopefully they will continue to read as well. Kenan, tell us, let's bring you into the conversation. Tell us about your publishing and your award-winning books.
Okay, so we started as a magazine first, and then we came into publishing. The publishing house was launched in 1995. So this is our 25th year, actually. And if the pandemic was not there, probably we'll be making plans for a grand celebration. But now we have to hit a pause button and probably wait for next year. We have been focusing on literary fiction and non-fiction mostly, but we do publish all genre of books. And we are doing about 75 books per year. And total list is nearly 1,000 titles, about 20-25% translations from other Indian languages and world languages. And yeah, our main focus remains literary fiction and non-fiction.
Okay. And how are things going for you during the lockdown? What's happening?
So during the lockdown, what we have, we decided to convert all our books into ebooks in 2018. So we thought, this is a time to invest in this, and we felt that Tamil readers might be ready to also take in ebooks now. But due to some technical hitches, and also because we could not focus entirely on this because of other works, things were a bit slow. But using this time period, we are totally focusing on converting all our books into ebooks. Since we have stopped, hit a pause button on our publishing work. We have involved all our staff to work from home into the conversion process of, turning all our books into ebooks. And the last 1 year, our returns from ebooks have not been bad. So we expect as we turn turn more books into e-books, we will do better in the future.
Right. And Shweta, you might know this. Overall, what's the situation during COVID? Are all the bookshops closed? Are Amazon and Flipkart operating? And maybe if you can just explain to our viewers about Amazon and Flipkart and the bookshop setup.
So, I mean, everything online sales are all closed, except we have shops opening in Kerala now. So the shops are open on Tuesdays and Friday. And one good news came from the Ministry of Human Resource Development last week was the educational books bookshops rather are going to be open. And maximum sell, like for a publisher, online selling is very important. So almost to a certain extent of 50% of their sales happen through online sales. So that is, that is all stopped right now. So let's see on 3rd of May what directions the government gives further. So, but Kerala is the good news. I mean, it's been a pioneer in opening bookstores on Tuesdays and Fridays, couple of hours, which is interesting. The rest, everything is shut right now, and the education books scenario is open.
And so anyone chip in here? Is there any government support for publishers during this time? Is the government stepping in with any programs or schemes to support publishers? Nothing.
No.
It's
And that's
basically
nothing new.
So
And
Ravi is the only lucky publisher from this group.
What?
He's the only lucky publisher to get government support.
Kanan, are you serious? You're getting government support?
Yeah, in Kerala, they are getting some support, right?
No, not really. I mean, Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 to 5, we can.
Yeah, so you are the only lucky publisher who gets government support.
So the retail happens.
You're calling that support. You're calling
But
that
getting the
support.
Okay. I want to pitch in a question here for all our international audience, and this has been quite a thing with me. Mostly, I've been traveling, and a lot of people don't understand the geography of India in terms of and the diversity of publishing in India, and it's very weird. One of the time, and I remember it very vividly. Somebody asked me, "Do you publish in Indian?" Then I had to stop that guy, and I had to make them understand. So, I mean, we are all Indians, but there's hundreds and thousands of language dialects we speak, and it's very diverse. So do you, Arpita, can you weigh in and at least give us a little idea that how publishing, I mean, how Delhi and there are other parts and languages, which languages are big. Isha is there on audio. We'll bring her later and talk about something what we do in East. But can you please start with Delhi and then move on to a little parts here and there, and everybody can pitch in and talk about that what is what in which region.
Right. So, I mean, obviously, it goes without saying it's as diverse a publishing ecosystem as it is a culture in terms of the landmass of India. And in Delhi, of course, there are the major English language publishing houses in Delhi. And as Emma mentioned earlier, there is this sense that Delhi is the hub of publishing. But I would say it in a sense, it's been the hub of English language publishing. And that does not mean there isn't English language publishing elsewhere in India, but perhaps there is more English language publishing in Delhi than anywhere else. Because, that goes back to history, the fact that paper merchants who came across Union partitions settled here and started some of the earliest family-owned businesses, which form historically the foundation of Indian publishing. And when in the two waves of international brands coming to India, Delhi was therefore chosen as where they would locate their offices. Right? But even in Delhi, an incredible and very, very dynamic Hindi language publishing space. Not to say, and I won't say anything more than this, that for those who don't know among our viewers, there are, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, 22 languages right now in the constitution, 22 languages.
Official
And-
one.
Sorry?
Official
Ravi?
ones, right? Official.
Yeah. And of course, outside of those 22, there are a massive collection of dialects. And even if we don't talk about the dialects, when we talk about language publishing, just the idea of 22 languages and fairly dynamic and thriving publishing industries in about half of them, guys, about 10 or 11 of them at least, if not more. Although I'm sure every language has some publishing component in the larger ecosystem. That gives you an idea of how massive, diverse, widespread it is. But I'm sure Isha and Kannan and Ravi and Sunil can talk more about that.
Karan, do you
Esha,
want to bring
can
in
you
your
join?
point of-
Esha, I don't know if you can, if you're able to
just one
unmute
minute.
and just
Yeah, sure.
us a little bit about you and your company.
I'm just trying. There's some issue with my Zoom. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, hi everyone. I'm sorry I can't come on the video. I look because I have conjunctivitis and I look terrible. I'm sorry I'm not being on the video. Well, I'm representing East today. I have a small independent English publishing house, ebooks, but our bigger publishing press is Potro Bharat. We have around 2,500 titles, and a lot of our titles get adapted into movies and series, especially. We have a wide range of fiction as well as graphic novels and children's titles. Here today we got the news that our government has allowed to deliver homes, so therefore it's good news for us that we'll be able to deliver through Amazon and Flipkart hopefully. But we've already started distributing physical books through our own sales channel. Whatever orders we are getting on our website and on that's one from our end. Apart from that, unfortunately, Bengali as a language is not identified on Amazon Kindle. So they are not heavily invested into small size. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear.
So, although there are small, websites like Shopify, local, they do a lot of ebook for us. We have around 500 of our books in ebook format. But that's not all the best-selling titles. So, I mean, it doesn't form a great, what do I say? Financially, it doesn't look great because it doesn't form a huge part of our return. If I may say, like the price high enough. So that's a major concern. The other concern is that book fairs are long. I don't know when the book fairs will resume, whether it will resume this year or not at all. So that's a major sales point. So I think that's all for now.
Okay. Prashant, did you have a question?
I have one thing I've been thinking about, and I don't know how right or wrong I am on this. But yesterday, when I heard the news coming in from MHRD issuing a notification that the bookshops will be open, and FIP definitely pushing towards it. I saw an email also which FICCI was circulating that all the bookshops will be open. So I saw that email and I thought that is the industry being represented properly, because if the bookshops are getting over, why not trade books? Why there is a difference between, I mean, why we are creating a difference between books? If you are selecting to sell school books, why can't you allow selling trade books as well? that was my thought in my mind, and of course I'm a trade book publisher, so that will run in my mind. It's open to anyone who can answer that.
But for us in the East, I would say that it's the rule for all of them. We got a circular around 2 days back saying that we could open our bookstores, but then there was a circular again saying that all stores need to be shut. So, I think West Bengal is in the red zone still now. I mean, it's not yet in the green zone, and the cases are increasing. There's also like people are saying that the number of the testings are not very high if you look at the map. So I think there's a lot of panic around also. So, but in our case, it's the trade and non-trade both the stores are closed. I mean, our state has not allowed even the academic booksellers to open.
All right, so that is something
So
which
in
I
Tamil
was not
Nadu,
aware of.
in Tamil Nadu, no bookshop will be open at least till May 3rd. Whatever the guidelines of the HRD, Tamil Nadu government has decided to continue complete lockdown till May 3rd, and after May 3rd, they might review the situation.
In Kerala, I mean, most bookshops are open now every day with the MHRD order. Because most of the bookshops also sells in some level or other, like 5%, 10% academic books as well. For example, we have some of it medical, some of it CBSE. So you are allowed to open every day. I mean, it depends how you interpret the whole thing, actually. So, Shan, the whole thing is actually probably even a Delhi or a Mumbai bookshop can also open having some CBSE or other books. I mean, it doesn't have to be all. And the good thing with the trade bookshops is actually numbers are less. Your bill value, the ticket value is higher. So I don't think there's any harm actually opening the bookshop. It all depends upon, and if you know somebody within the government or the bureaucracy, they will definitely have it interpreted in your way. I mean, I think we should use it as a tool to open the bookshops. Sorry, I mean, I'm being blunt about it. I mean, like, it's
No, that is my question. That is my point, that are we represented well in front of the government? Because I mean, people are just pushing in their own agenda that academics will do. Why not trade? Why not books in general as a whole?
I believe that what had happened is actually FICCI has taken clue from the Kerala scenario, and FIP also came into picture. So the easiest way to convince the present government is school books, could be the reason. I mean, like in the central government, that's a tool they would probably use. Actually.
Okay.
I think we all should open the bookshops. Actually, I mean, there's a restriction to the larger formats. Actually,
I think I agree with that. I think I agree with the fact that if you start talking, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. That if you start talking about school textbooks and academic books, you can build on that case faster in our country. Prashant, you know that, right? Because the whole, it is the largest part of the market. There is a lot of goodwill factor associated with wanting students to access books which are directly useful to them. But I think you're absolutely right. I mean, that kind of a campaign should absolutely be used by the rest of us to piggyback on and talk about how books are an essential item. And correct me if I'm wrong, but hasn't Thomas Abraham done, didn't he, from Hachette India, didn't he write an article or a letter?
He did actually in the Scroll. I mean, it's a good article actually. It's really
good. And hasn't he's pretty much argued this, hasn't he, in that article?
Yeah, his argument is also, I mean, we should not be too much focusing on to the ebook thing. Then the government will say, you go digital, it's easier way to do it. So Thomas's argument is good actually. I mean, just don't push too much of the digital over there. So that, I mean, government will say that you go digital. I mean, we don't want the print books to be open now. That's also one thing he has stated very clearly.
I think all the language publishers have not presented themselves to the ministry, to each state in a proper way. So that is the issue.
My worry is all these academic apps which are giving subscription for free. These apps are very well funded, and they have this certain marketing budget to spend and that's the sort of liberty we don't have. So I mean, all these things coming in picture, especially I'm a children book publisher. I'm really worried because all these apps which are saying children content for free, you use it for a month or maybe 2 months or as long as you are in the lockdown, and that's gonna eat up a lot of space. And that's my worry because I do not have that much amount to play around and maybe come whenever I come back. I don't know if I have a comeback onto that.
So can I ask from an outsider's point of view as well, if I was coming to India for the first time and I wanted to get to grips with the publishing industry there, where I know that India's got a huge amount of literature festivals and book fairs, where would I go first? Where would be my first port of call?
Should be Mumbai.
Not Pune.
I'm just being naughty. I'm being naughty. You should try and divide yourself into 4 parts and be in 4.
You should do a tour. Is that what you're saying, Arpita? Do north, south, east, and west?
Yes, Emma, you know, that's something I keep telling my German and French, European friends who come to visit. Friends from UK, like you've been coming here much longer, so you have a better sense of the ecosystem. But a lot of the European publishing professionals have started coming here more recently. And I get very annoyed with them when they just come to Delhi and go away. And I keep trying to explain to them that it's not just, or they'll come to Delhi, they do work in Delhi, and then they'll book a holiday in Kerala or book a holiday in Goa, right? And I keep telling them, guys, you're making a big mistake. You'll find work-related meetings, work-related learnings in all of these parts of India as far as publishing is concerned. And I wish more people understood that really. Or these days they'll come to Delhi and then go to Jaipur to have a lot of wine,
Actually, there are many cultures, many languages, many type of peoples from where you can learn, you can have some experiences, and those can be put in the writings. I have seen those French publishers coming to Delhi or India and writing many biographies of some Indian people. It was like Fullan Devi. I did from French to Marathi, whereas that lady was from Delhi or from Uttar Pradesh or the Chambal Ghati. And many publishers from French, they come to India and they do write those biographies. So you have to stay for a long time here, make an assignment and stay as many days you can.
And if what about coming to the south? So Canon, let's come to you and let me ask you about the south. What steps are happening in the south to really build up publishing there?
During these times?
Yeah.
Generally, we at least in Tamil Nadu, we do not expect any kind of government support here. We are happy if they allow us to, work peacefully. And books don't get the kind of focus in Tamil Nadu, for example, that the book gets in Kerala. To answer an earlier question by Arpita, why I said that Kerala government is supporting the industry was that when they sort of relaxed the lockdown last week and opened restaurants, bookshops, and barber shops, the central government clamped back and saying you can't do that. So they withdrew on barber shop and restaurant, but they did not withdraw on bookshop. So that is the kind of the support that government can extend to bookshops and publishers. So we don't expect that kind of support. That we don't have a history of getting that kind of support from Tamil Nadu government. In the Chennai Book Fair is probably the second or third biggest book fair in India, but it happens without any kind of government support, all only by publishers. So that's how we have grown. That except that we might get some orders for the centralized library system. Other than that, we do not depend on the government for anything else. And we try to depend on the readers and work through the readers. That's the kind of publishing that I do. I don't depend on institutions, don't depend on libraries, but try to work with the readers. And that's the thing that's going to last forever, you know, that relationship. So talking about the bookshops, we did a small experiment here. I have a bookshop in my town. And so the bookshop was not allowed to be open. So we made a proposal to the local corporation saying that we will deliver school books to homes. We will take orders over phone and then we'll deliver books to home. So they agreed to that and they gave us special passes and we organized vehicles and we took the orders on phone and then we delivered books at home wherever they want the book to be delivered, and then we'll take the payment right there itself. This went on for a week and now we have taken a pause and probably we'll start again next week. So this is one possibility that we can work outside opening a bookshop, try to probably deliver books at home, but this can't work in big cities. We are able to do it because this is a small town and, you know, within traveling distance of a two-wheeler or a car.
Emma, did someone ask a question on the Facebook group about which book fair to visit?
So Sylvia, yeah, she was keen to know which book fairs she should visit.
So that's one place where I will still say, and my friends will forgive me and I think agree with me when I say it's still the World Book Fair in Delhi for all practical purposes.
Yeah, I think they should visit 3 book fairs from what I have seen. The World Book Fair Delhi, of course, and then the Calcutta Book Fair and then Chennai. That will give an overall picture of what is happening around India.
And the third one, Canon?
The Chennai Book Fair.
Chennai.
The Shridesh Chennai Book Fair, yes.
It is the biggest book fair in south of India.
And Isha is saying something about the Kolkata Book Fair, that it's the largest in terms of footfall and it also gets subsidized by the state government. Isha, do you want to talk about a little bit on the Kolkata Book Fair?
I was following Kannan ji saying that it's not subsidized by the state government. So I just mentioned that our book fair, the International Kolkata Book Fair, is subsidized by the state government. We get a lot of local support. We get transport support from the government. There are buses that are given to us. There's water that's provided across the book fair for free for people who come into the book fair. Kannanji was here this year at the book fair, so he knows that there's a lot of crowd. I mean, it's very crowded. It's primarily a Bengal book fair, local language centric book fair. English participation is much lower than that of the World Book Fair. Most definitely in West Bengal in general, people have a tendency to physically go and buy books, especially during the fairs, because they also get to meet a lot of authors who visit these fairs to sign books, and they get to talk to these. Every fair, even before the culture of Lit Fest came in India, in Bengal there was this thing of Sahitya Sabha, which basically means literature gatherings, and every book fair used to host these Sahitya Sabhas every evening. Like 2-3 authors would come chat in publisher stalls, or they would have that generally. So I think that culture has not gone away yet. Like even in the districts, specifically in the districts where Amazon or Flipkart, they don't deliver well, or they take a lot of time to deliver. These district book fairs do very well, or the school book fairs do very well. The library support is also great. The state library support is also great on our end. We have around 20 libraries in West Bengal, including higher secondary and secondary libraries.
Sylvia, did you have a follow-up question?
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you, Hannah. So I've got many questions, of course, because you are opening up a wide market, a continent, as Emma said. So when I will give you straight question, and whoever can answer, thank you so very much. So my first question is cultural contents. I'm very interested to know if what in the whole, let's say more or less, for more or less all publishers, what do you think is the main point for you to publish, especially concerning children books? What is most important now, for instance, to make children understand your cultural tradition, to be aware of your origins, or I don't know, human rights, or the problem of environment, or solidarity among nations, or among states in India? So I'm very interested in knowing what is your emergency, because for Italy now, our problem is to be aware of who we are, because all our children are globalized, but we have no idea of our traditions, the good that we can take from our tradition, for instance. No? So I'm asking you, what are the main contents now for you? I'm sorry, it is a huge question, but I'm very interested from the cultural point of view.
Prashant, you can answer that.
Prashant?
Yeah. So Sylvia, I mean, I'm actually not the right person to do that, because my publishing is completely commercial and trade. So I'm very mass market. But so I see a lot of how do I'm still thinking in terms of, so a lot of publishing which happens down south, especially like Tulika and the other children book publishers who have been creating content which is I mean, Penguin does a lot of work on children book publishing, which is very cultural, and they talk about different aspects of India. I clearly remember there's a series from Penguin called Off to India, and they have covered almost around 27, 28 states. I mean, there has been a lot of attempt on that to make sure that children understand the culture, and we talk about solidarity and all the other issues. It's a big country, and everybody is working in some way or the other to contribute in that process. I just want to bring that forward, that when we talk about a culture, it's more about practices, what we do in areas around us, rather than mythology, because a lot of people associate our culture with mythology, which is absolutely not true. It's just in India, in every 100 kilometers, our eating, reading, sitting, and talking habits change. And I mean, that's what is culture when we talk about. So it is not about folklore and the mythology.
Of course. And second question, can I? So when I've been asked during my business, that people from India, they ask me, English language rights. I'm never sure, of course, everything is everything regards trust with me and the co-publisher in India for a big co-edition projects on art, academic, whatever. But if you ask English language rights, am I supposed that usually, your market is India anyway, since it is a continent, as you said, or it is just normal, that is a normal publisher ask English language rights, they mean also that they are able to get books to, I don't know, Nepal or whatever in the area close by, or Southeast Asia. So I never know exactly, because the problem is, if I trust the publisher, I don't mind what he asks. Otherwise, if I don't know publisher, I never know if I should trust them. Maybe they ask English language rights for all Asia, and I'm very unsure about that. How does it happen by you?
Peter?
Yeah, I just want to say that when I ask for rights, I always say South Asia rights to begin with, for sure. Not just for the Indian subcontinent. I ask for the South Asia rights, which includes countries like Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. Which one am I missing out, guys? But frankly speaking, now, because we have a distributor in UK, and our books are going to UK, not just physically through the distributor, but also,
to
Well,
print them there in a UK edition.
Yeah, and I mean we are asking for at least UK rights. I always ask for UK rights, and for the last 3 years, I've been getting UK rights for French and German books, whose translations, the translation rights of which I buy, because we are able to sell the English translation that we do is at par with any English language edition coming out of any part of the world, any other Anglophone country, and so I don't see why our edition cannot sell in UK and other Anglophone countries. More recently, an Australian publishers delegation has been coming to India every year. So our English language editions are also via that channel, via the contacts we made there, also beginning to sell in Australia. So I won't say, I haven't had a lot of luck in selling my editions in USA, and I still find USA is the hardest. But when it comes to UK, when it comes to Australia, when it comes to Singapore, absolutely, yeah.
Arpita, do you say that the books which are not been published by the UK publishers from Italian language or the European languages, those rights are being taken by you and you are distributing those books in UK?
Yeah, yeah.
So, it can be.
I've started doing. Yeah.
Okay. So it can be, those are not the popular titles which the big publishers are not getting those rights or not taking those rights and being in the translation for those titles.
Sunil, I'm a fairly independent alternative publisher myself. So I mean, my books are not exactly, stuff that's going to put the market on fire, but they are very good books. And these are memoirs, these are LGBT books coming out of France and Germany, which have a bearing for LGBT issues in the rest of the world. They're books, memoirs of political dissent. They are a whole number of books. We actually bought rights to a very, very popular, and I mean popular. This one is popular. French literary personality called Charles Danzy. And who's a publisher, and he's also a very writer in France. And we bought rights to his book Pourquoi lire, Why Read, and we're selling that in UK as well. And shockingly enough, he's never been published, he's never been translated to English, and he's really happy with us. He's really happy with our translation. So the book is selling well there too. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Does that answer your question, Sylvia?
Yes, in part, because I could ask something more about this item. Well, but no, it's clear enough. And I just asked you something else, because I was impressed last year in Abu Dhabi, and Abu Dhabi, the guest of honor was India. And actually, it was quite a problem for all our publishers who were there, because you came and it was so also culturally endorsed. I mean, you had some Bhagavad Gita, some text on art. It was so elegant and so really. To be sincere, quite impressive. It was a lot to read. And in comparison to when Italy was, I believe in 2015, something like that, we were guest of honor. We are Italy. I mean, we are the best in art, as you know, in the world. Still, it was, a shame. It was just a very tiny stuff, very nicely done. Oh, but you had something huge. So my question is first to tell you that we publishers who were not from India last year, we had a big problem because I made a lot of meetings because I stayed 10 days, the whole 10 days in Abu Dhabi. I stayed there from morning to night, etc. I made good contracts with quite good money. It was fine. Why? Because I've been there for 6-7 years, of course. So I know so many people. Okay, but in general, for all the foreigners, which were really few to be sincere, it was really bad because you, Indian publisher, you sold everything to everybody. So it looks like, I mean, first, because of course you ask advanced, which were quite low, very low. Second, of course, you made an offer in English, which is fantastic for everybody in the world. It's easy to translate, so you can present a huge volume on history of art in 2000 years before Christ, and you can be welcomed, okay? But third, I saw really an ability to be sincere. I always thought that Arab people are the best merchant in the world, because in Mediterranean, Arabic people were fine, best, fantastic. They go on making a deal, but you are the best, to be sincere, because you were able to present very good stuff, art books, etc., to the Arabic world. And so I just wanted first to tell you, please go on. It is not my interest, but I would say, because I don't work yet with, I don't represent Indian publisher yet, etc. But still, I want to tell you, please go on trying to have support or by your publisher organization, because I believe that wherever you go, I mean, if you decide to go to Brazil, to Guadalajara, etc., I mean, it's quite impressive what you can do. Also because you present quite a very good level, and please go on showing a high level of presentation of the country, with a very good well map, with some Sanskrit reading, etc. So that makes the sense of the variety and diversity of your continent. I won't say any more nation, but continent, sorry. And so good luck. And I just wanted to know if you are going to become a guest of honor next year or in the next years to come somewhere else in the world. Do you know that already or not?
Shweta, I think you know that, don't you? You were supposed to be guest of honor in Paris this year, right? Shweta, unmute.
Yeah, that was sorry. Can I just say my pet peeve? Because we were all set to go, and then it was all over. It was really sad. We were really looking forward to it. And what's amazing is that the French book office here have been preparing for more than a year. They'd kept us all in the loop. They were preparing for more than a year. They were preparing the program in great detail. And it was really disappointing that it didn't happen.
Well, I don't know if you'll end up being guest of honor in Paris next year, whether they'll sort of like delay it or not.
Let's hope so.
Now, one thing that India is also extremely good at is literature festivals. And I've been to the Jaipur Literature Festival myself, but the one that I've been promising Ravi that I will come and visit is the Kerala Lit Fest.
Next year, right?
Ravi, tell us all about it.
It's, as I said in the beginning, actually, the Lit Fest, I mean, it's a 4-day Lit Fest, actually. We got about between 400 to 500 speakers. And as I said, I mean, like, because we work on certain topics and subjects, which is usually otherwise not in the Lit Fest, actually. I mean, we get some people who are exclusive to Kerala, like the Arundhati Roy. I guess she visits only one Lit Fest. She comes for this. Romila Thapa comes for the Lit Fest, actually. So we get a line of people, people who just visits Kerala. So that makes a difference, actually. So the kind of topics and the guests. Second is, I mean, it's only 5 years, and the crowd has been huge, actually. It's more of youngsters. And what people say is, actually, I mean, people, the speakers who have been to Jaipur and others, Jaipur, of course, is one of the best Lit Fest, actually. But the difference between Jaipur and Kerala Lit Fest is actually I mean, Kannan probably will tell you, or Arpita will tell you that the audience asks questions, right? I mean, at the end of the thing, actually, there's a lot of questions happening at the end of the Lit Fest, actually. I mean, so people do select the topics, and
it's on the beach. And it's on the beach.
It's on the beach, of course. I mean, it's right on the beach.
But you know, I mean, it's on the beach, but Ravi is so right. The audience questions blew my mind. I mean, and I've been going to a lot of Lit Fests around the country. I've been going to Jaipur for 8 years. It was my first time at the Kerala Lit Fest in Calicut. My God, it was to be on the stage, at that Lit Fest made you feel powerful, you know, because these
Thank you.
these were avid readers, and they had such good questions for you.
I think we should have a Publishers Without Borders party at the Kerala Lit Fest.
I think we should have it as a part of the Kerala Lit Fest for that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
also because Ravi gets the lunch catered by the most scrumptious Calicut eatery. And I tell you, doing a session after that lunch was so tough for me. My eyes were glazing over.
No, the Paragon, actually, that's one of the best restaurants in the States. I mean, we are lucky that, I mean, they also came.
So can you accommodate us all next year, Ravi?
Absolutely. Let's plan for next year if you are all ready for it. Actually, we'll plan for it.
That would be that would be great. But what about, are we going to make it virtual, Emma? So you were talking about a virtual workshop?
Are you talking about virtual? I mean, of course. I mean, that's
come on.
Probably...
We need
We're
some
hoping-
sunshine.
So the Kerala Lit Fest is end of January, right, Ravi?
Yeah,
Beginning
it's a mid-January actually, and
mid-January.
Yeah.
So hopefully by then the lockdown will have lifted and we can all celebrate on the beach in Kerala.
and there's flight direct
That would be
flight from.
fantastic. Yeah.
There's an airport to Kozhikode as well, the Calicut. I mean, there's an airport there, so it's not too bad.
Excellent. We're going to be there, Ravi.
Great. I see you all guys over there. I mean, that's awesome. One thing with that, I mean, like, with the lockdown, I mean, I just want to make a couple of points actually. One good thing happened with the lockdown is actually the CM was willing. I mean, when we went on the web, actually on the Zoom, talked to CM on the bookshop, he was willing to listen to us, and the Chief Minister actually. So he was willing to listen to us, and within 8 hours, he passed an order saying that Tuesdays and Fridays, we have the bookshops. Then another request, or the one thing we work with the health department is, during the isolation, Kerala had the COVID, the first of the series of COVIDs in India actually. So we worked with the government. Kerala was so happy actually. We were able to give books to all the people in isolation. Kerala immediately took about a few thousand people into isolation, then it continued across state, So government did announce that people should be given books free and all. By the time the first we did it actually, then they continued that the propaganda, the promotions of giving books across to the isolation. So that's what I'm just adding to what Kannan said. Then what we did as a publisher, DC Books as a publisher, is we let the people download about almost 100,000 books free from the ebook. Actually, that made us popular among the ebooks. Then we started selling the thing. So 100,000 ebooks were free to download for the thing. I mean, so these are some of the things which probably Kerala, during the lockdown also, the books became so important. The Chief Minister also said, books are not essential, it's most essential. I mean, just adding to that, I'm sorry when I got the...
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I mean, you deserve flowers. Flowers.
Thank you.
Flowers.
Absolutely.
So I think we need to wrap up quite soon. But before we do, I just want to ask each one of you about how you're coping with isolation and lockdown personally. So Sunil, why don't we kick off with you? How are you coping? How are you dealing with this?
Okay, I'm just working in the morning with my office colleagues, that the work which has been given to do at home, they are just finishing it off, so that after the lockdown, we come with some new titles immediately. Second thing, I'm just noting down many points that after lockdown, I can do many more new things in publishing or for myself with the books. So it is a good time that the God has given me that time to think over, to do new things, to learn new things, to see the publishing goes more and more in a well manner. So that is how I'm doing. And some deals are also going on for some film rights with some 3 or 4 titles. So that would
amazing. Amazing. Kanan, you next?
Yeah, so my office is the top of my house, so I have no problem going there. And since we have a magazine, I have given a few press passes to 4 or 5 staff who can turn up a half a day every year. So we keep the basic things going, and many more people are working from home. And we are focusing on 2 things now: one, converting into ebooks, and then we have stopped doing our magazine in print, and we are doing it online now for the last 2 issues. So we work on both those things. On a personal level, I spend more time in the morning and evening in gardening. I have a lovely dog named Bondu. Spend a lot of time with them. And my son has come back. So my mother, my wife, my second son, and we are all together.
Bravo.
So, yeah, so we try to spend more family time. We are waiting for our first son. He's in Delhi. He's working in the Indian Express. So next the break happens, he will probably fly back, and then we'll all be able to spend some more time together. I'm a very, I always live in, except when I'm traveling, I sort of live in a semi-quarantine. So it's not a big leap for me from that to a full quarantine.
Okay.
Arpita, how are you coping with this lockdown, and what do you plan to do when it lifts?
But what I plan to do when it lifts is go and buy myself alcohol.
Oi, 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 oi. Oh, no.
Because in India, we don't have liquor shops open, right? And I have like the dregs of a Bacardi bottle left, and I hate Bacardi, right? So it's just awful for me right now.
You should always keep 5 bottles in stock for any emergency.
So this has taught me, Kannan, I'm never going to forget this again. So my takeaway from pandemic, right?
Always be stocked up.
But stay well stocked.
Yeah. But apart from that, I mean, it's really busy, weirdly enough, because the housework and cooking, all of us are, my husband and I we're a good team when it comes to housework and cooking. And we work part of the day and we do the housework and the cooking half the day. And the kids help out whatever they can, but the kids have their own online learning. So we're playing a lot of board games, which doesn't happen much in this household. And we're each one of us is very independent, very individualistic, very competitive. So I'm sure the neighbors wonder what goes on in my house because we shout a lot at each other while playing board games. That's what we're doing.
Fun. Sounds like you've had a fun time, but certainly lessons learned. Don't skimp on the booze stocks. Esha, you're still there with us, I think.
Yes. Sorry.
Tell us.
We've got dogs who are screaming and shouting in my neighborhood. I'm so sorry if that's... Yeah. So I don't have a funny answer like Arpita Di. Me and my sister, I have a sister, so we are spending most of our time. We are doing a storytelling series on Facebook from our Patra Bharati page. So where all our authors are reading out 1 stories each, short stories. So we are primarily, most of the day, we are either working with our editorial team or the translators to get the books, the editing part of the book, the pre-press done, or we are just editing those videos and putting it up on Facebook. And we are also learning a lot about social media. Me and my sister, we go on these data analytics and we are just trying to learn more about, the traction and viewership and all of that, conversion. I think that's primarily it, and also planning a few things once the lockdown is over. It's kind of a slap on the Bengali publishing houses because nobody was really bothered about ebooks and audiobooks, and now suddenly with the lockdown, everybody started looking at it as an alternate medium of sales. We work with audiobooks and Storytel, but now we are planning to do some of our own. So yeah, I think that's all. Spending time.
I think everyone, everyone's finding that you can really have time to think during this time, and set new goals, set new projects, so that when you come out of this, you can really hit the ground running. Shweta, let's hear from you. How are you coping and what's next for you?
I feel one day is rolling into another, 1 week is passing into another. So I'm trying to pinch myself, okay, it's a Monday or a Tuesday or a Sunday. So it's different and interesting because we're keeping in connect with a lot of publishers. So a lot of innovations are happening and how they are strategizing to reach out to people. So we've been sending out newsletters almost every day about what's being new in the industry and who's doing what, and so much of new things are happening. And I'm after this thing finishes, one by the booth and second go for the run. So after the lockdown finishes, I'm dying to go for a run because we cannot even, there's a COVID patient in our colony. So everything's been shut down. So I'm hoping, let's see whenever this gets over, I'm dying to go for a run. So that's that.
Run to buy the bottle of gin.
Done.
Ravi,
Very much.
Me.
Ravi, what's
Yeah,
your
sure.
takeaway from all of this?
Basically, I mean, like Isha said, I'm also a bit doing a lot of stuff actually with the World Book Fair. We had a semi-lit, mini-lit fest actually. We had from morning 10 o'clock till 7. We had every half an hour, we had a program happening with some sessions. Again, we have a poetry festival from tomorrow till next Monday. Then we are also having releases of the earlier Kerala Literature Festival videos actually. I think so. It has been busy actually doing a lot of stuff actually from morning to evening. Plus, I spend a lot of time at home. I mean, it's a beautiful place to be. I mean, Cotton, where I belong to, it's a very small town. So I go out for a walk in the morning and evening. It's waterfront towards that side. I mean, a lot of birds, migratory birds coming.
Nice.
So I enjoy the nature actually. It's quite a clean air.
So nice. Prashant, let's end with you.
Well, everybody knows what I'm doing. I'm right here on Publishers Without Border Facebook group page. I'm mostly online. I'm talking to everyone. I'm putting on posts. I'm liking, commenting, and that's what I'm doing most of the time. But on the other hand, from the work front, we got into the quarantine mode a week before the actual lockdown happened, and luckily we carried all our machines. Everybody carried their machines to their home, and on a daily basis, we are reviewing what we are doing, and we are closing on projects which we want to print as soon as the situation opens up. On the other hand, we were never serious about digital books and ebooks because of a print distribution strength. And right now, the biggest project we are working upon is converting all our books into digital books and trying to understand and learn more about how to foray into that area. And that's pretty much it. We sell a little bit in US, and apparently US is open, and we are trying to figure out a way how to still send shipments by air or by sea to US to at least fulfill the Amazon requirement we have there. So that's the sort of daily work schedule I have, and I'm hoping as soon as it opens up, I run along with Arpita and Shweta to buy all the alcohol in the world. because I had nothing, and the only reason I am onto social media all the time because I have no alcohol. If you give me some, I'll be just whoosh.
But Prashant, you have done a very great thing here, gathering 2,000 plus publishers on the Facebook. So we could know these publishers or the agents or the people in the publishing world newly, because at Frankfurt or London Book Fair, we cannot see all these publishers or we cannot meet all these publishers. So thank you for doing this great thing or job.
It's Imon's idea, it's Emma's effort, and everybody who is basically accepting the joint request and sending the joint request. So I mean, it's for all of us who is coming in and sharing those wonderful pictures. I mean, I never thought when this started, and Simon never thought when this started that when we ask what you're eating, people will share the food they are eating, and when we ask silly questions like what we are drinking, we are talking about the drinks and seeing the pictures of drinks people are having. So I'm very thankful that everybody is so open and so communicative and been so nice to make this community up and running as long as we can. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining in such a short notice, because it was really short and we just wanted to start something this week with India, and India is so big and a lot of people are still very confused. I want to tell everyone, first of all, I would like to thank Emma for organizing the questions and everything. And I want to tell everyone that all of us are on this group. If anybody has any questions, they can tag or reach out to us directly and feel free to ask. If there is anything you are not able to connect directly on Messenger, you can tag the admins and we'll reach out and find answers for you. We are just trying to make sure that whatever we can learn during this period, whatever we can share during this period, we should.
Sylvia has made big points, so she will make more money from India.
Oh, well, no, that's very interesting to see your faces and to hear what you say. That's important. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
And I've got one final request as well. Something that I'm really keen to get out of this session is to expand my book pile of to be read books. And if everyone could go on to the Facebook page after for this session and recommend me some books to read, some good Indian writers. Unfortunately, I can't read in Malayalam or Marathi, but maybe if there's some Marathi or Malayalam writers that are translated into English, I'd love to know and hear about them.
Good idea. Good idea, Emma. Yeah.
Surely.
Shweta, you're on mute. Did you want to say something? You're on mute.
Yeah. So great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this session.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Prashant. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys. Got to see some old friends on the screen. I'm so happy to see Ravi, and I'm so happy to see Kannan on screen, and see Shweta and Mr. Mehta and I, Sunil. I've started calling you Sunil now that I've seen you.
Yeah, surely.
Right. And we only heard
everyone.
And we'll convene in Kerala in January.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma.